Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Kent City Council meeting for Tuesday, May 7th. If you could all please rise and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Kim, could you please call the roll?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mayor Ralph.
Here.
Council President Kaur.
Here.
Councilmember Boyce.
Here.
Councilmember Boyd.
Here.
Councilmember Fincher.
Here.
Councilmember Larmer.
Here.
Councilmember Michaud.
Here.
Councilmember Troutner.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Pat, changes to the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have one change to the agenda. We're going to add an executive session under 4230-110-1B regarding the possible site selection of real property for lease or purchase. And I anticipate that'll take about 20 minutes and there will be no action following executive session.
All right. Thank you. With that change to the agenda, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
I had a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, that brings us down to public communications. We have a lot of really good things on our agenda this evening. So we are going to start out with our employee of the month. Each month our employees, I'm going to start that all over again. Each month, our employees get together and they have the opportunity to nominate one of their coworkers for Employee of the Month. And this is an example of an employee that consistently exemplifies our mission, vision, values, and goals here at the City of Kent and has the respect of their coworkers. So I am very pleased tonight to announce that our May 2024 Employee of the Month is Chris Sprague. Chris originally started working for the city on March 18, 1991 as a police officer. On August 6, 2008, he moved into his current role as the police training administrator and range master. Under the direction of the training sergeant, this position assists in the development and training programs and activities. Chris was nominated because of his 32 years of service. Chris has taught, mentored, and inspired many officers and civilians in our region. One of Chris's strengths is his ability to collaborate and network with various stakeholders, specifically the Kent Fire Department, Puget Sound Fire Authority, Kent facilities, multiple state and regulatory agencies, dozens of contractors, and all agencies comprising the Valley SWAT team. Chris also works with surrounding state and federal law enforcement agencies, municipal and superior courts, and law enforcement vendors to ensure that the training division provides the best training possible. Chris serves in a unique role as the range master in an inward-facing role. He has brought the range program significant improvements over the years, and Kent's innovations have been adopted by agencies surrounding us. So that's always the highest compliment when people take what you have built and adopt it in their own agencies. Some of these include optics on pistols and suppressors on rifles, helping with shooting accuracy and preventing hearing loss. The range firearms programs are shining examples in the region. Chris is always moving forward, trying to improve on everything we do while making everyone around him feel important and a part of the team. Chris truly loves the City of Kent and our employees, and it shows every day that he comes to work. His most notable traits are his high energy, charisma, and inclusive mentoring. And if you've met Chris, those are absolutely the best words I can think of to describe him. I'm seeing the chief back there smiling and nodding that is a very true thing. Chris's office is a regular stop for many seeking professional and personal advice. He continuously embraces our values, and we celebrate Chris Sprague as May's Employee of the Month. He's not able to join us, but we can give him a round of applause. Hopefully he'll watch this tomorrow. I will tell you, I am a fan of Chris's for all the reasons that were in that information. He truly is... He's got an infectious smile and a bigger-than-life personality, and he's always there when our officers need that training and that support. He does an amazing job, so really, really grateful for Chris. All right, we are going to move on. We've got a special guest tonight. This evening, we are going to be introduced to the new King County Library System Executive Director. John, did you want to come up and do the introductions, or are we just going to call Heidi up and... All right. So Heidi Daniel, if you could come up to the podium and introduce yourself to the council and everyone here in the audience, we would love the opportunity to get to meet you.
Well, good evening. Can you hear me okay, everyone?
Yep.
Great. So thank you so much, first of all, for having me this evening. My name is Heidi Daniel. I'm the new Executive Director of the King County Library System, which of course is 50 locations throughout King County, 2 of which are here in the city of Kent. We have our Kent Library and our Kent Panther Lake, both beautiful buildings that I have had the opportunity to visit. I got here 2 months ago. I came from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm not originally from Baltimore, but I was running the city's library system in Baltimore City for the last 7 years. For 5 years before that, I was in Youngstown, Ohio, running their county-wide system in Mahoning County. And prior to that, I was in Houston. Prior to that, I was in Oklahoma City. I grew up in Michigan. I did my undergraduate in Chicago. And hopefully now the Pacific Northwest is my last stop on my countrywide tour. So I'm just incredibly thrilled to be here. You have some amazing and special libraries. We really appreciate the partnership we've had with the city and with City Council. And I wanted to make sure I have the opportunity to introduce myself to the community and know that King County Library System, our Kent locations, are thrilled to be part of your community. We're here for you. We're open to however we can work to further your city's goals and your community's aspirations. So thanks for having me and letting me introduce myself.
Thank you for joining us. I can say our libraries are absolutely one of the favorite things of our residents. All of the services they provide, the gathering space, and I know that our council is very supportive. We were very excited when we got the second library in Panther Lake. It's been a great addition to that neighborhood. Council, any questions?
Welcome, Heidi, and we're thrilled to have you. So thank you for coming here tonight.
Thank you for having me. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Are you around? Can I ask for a photo?
Absolutely.
John just can't resist.
Well, if you come right here, Council, if you want to come in close.
Getting closer, everybody.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you as well.
Thank you so much. That's the 2 chairs I
All right, I am going to move down to the podium here. We have a lot of things to celebrate tonight, so thought I would read the proclamations from down here, and then as I read them, if the person that's here to receive them come up, do a photo, and then I'll ask you to say a few words. So we are going to start with a proclamation this evening for the Kent Guild of the Seattle Children's Hospital. Very, very proud of the work that's been done over many years. So it's my honor to be able to present this proclamation this evening. It says, whereas since 1929, the Kent Guild of Seattle Children's Hospital has upheld their mission to raise awareness and funds for uncompensated care program, which ensures that children at Seattle Children's Hospital get the best care possible, as well as support research for cancer and other life-altering diseases in children. And whereas the Kent Guild of Seattle Children's Hospital has raised over $1,600,000 since its establishment, and whereas these funds have gone towards supporting Children's Hospital, who had nearly 400,000 patient visits in 2023 alone. And whereas children in the Kent community have directly benefited from the hard work and dedication of the Guild, and whereas these children have gone on to live full and happy lives, being given the chance to thrive. And whereas the City of Kent is proud to be represented by the incredibly caring and compassionate Guild and their efforts. Now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim that the City of Kent congratulates the Kent Guild of Seattle Children's Hospital on their 95th anniversary and encourages all residents to join me in celebrating this milestone for an incredible organization within our city. So, Rita.
So I've been a Guild member for almost a third of the 95 years. I was just thinking about this evening, and it's a privilege and pleasure to be a part of an organization that makes a difference in the lives of families in Kent, all around the state, all around the Pacific Northwest. You know, the money we raise for uncompensated care makes it so families who get a diagnosis that's frightening don't have to worry about their ability to pay or not. I really appreciate Mayor Ralph, City Council members, for honoring our Guild. Thank you.
All right. Our next proclamation is for Bike Everywhere Month, and we've got Wendy Graves, the chair of our Bicycle Advisory Board, here to accept tonight. So the proclamation says, whereas Kent residents find that bicycling is a popular and viable means of personal transportation, and whereas the Kent City Council desires to promote the use of bicycling as a mode of urban transportation in our city, and whereas the role of the bicycle in Kent is an economical mode of personal transportation that decreases traffic congestion, reduces demands on parking facilities, and promotes health. And whereas bike facilities like the Interurban Trail, the Green River Trail, and the Seuss Creek Trail are intensively used for commuting, recreation, and other bike trips. And whereas concerns for personal health, having clean air to breathe, and preserving the planet make the bicycle an increasingly attractive alternative to the use of the automobile. And whereas the city desires to have an active role in promoting the safety and well-being of those who use bicycles for all transportation purposes, now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Bike Everywhere Month in Kent, Washington, and call upon the people of our city to support this observance by riding their bicycles everywhere. We've got some really nice weather coming up, so that's a good thing, while educating and encouraging others to utilize this mode of travel. And I will say that our Bicycle Advisory Board really takes that mission to heart. Many of you have been able to attend the bike rodeo that's been held the last couple of years at the YMCA. We're so grateful for the Bicycle Advisory Board putting that on. I know that it was a vision and a dream and a commitment, and it's been fantastic. So Wendy, if you want to come up and join us, and anybody else here from the Bicycle Advisory Board that would like to come up for this photo, I would love that. Yes. These lovely fluorescent lights are always fabulous.
Right here, and 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to give that to you just to say a few words.
Yes, please. Thank you. So you kind of already stole my thunder.
That's quite all right. Homicide is on purpose.
Thank you so much, Mayor Ralph. As Mayor Ralph said here, you know, the City of Kent is a great place to ride bikes, and our job as the Bicycle Advisory Board is to work with our city advisors from the Department of Public Works to find even better ways to make Kent a fabulous place to ride bikes. And we appreciate everything that the council does to support us and the mayor does. And a reminder, as Mayor Ralph said, and I did send out invitations to each and every one of the council members, and thank you for your response. We're looking forward to seeing everybody at the third annual Bike Rodeo, and it will be at the YMCA parking lot on May 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we definitely encourage you to come along with your families, friends, kids, and see what we've got going on this year. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a lot of fun. So there's some bike races and bicycle helmets and lots of things. So I definitely encourage everyone to attend, and thank you again to our Bicycle Advisory Board members. All right, our next proclamation is a proclamation for Jewish American Heritage Month. And joining us this evening is Regina Friedland to accept the Regional Director of the American Jewish Committee. So I'm going to read the proclamation and we'll follow the same pattern. So it says, whereas Jewish American Heritage Month originally started in 1980 as a week-long observance in the month of April, until in February of 2006, Congress urged President Bush to dedicate the entire month of May. The following May, President Bush issued the first Jewish American Heritage Month proclamation. And whereas the American Jewish community has grown to over 6 million, representing approximately 2% of the American population today. And whereas Jewish Americans have made great contributions to our country, from service in government and military to creating great works of art, members of the community, past and present, can also be credited with adding to the education, medical, and corporate practices across the U.S. And whereas despite all this, Jewish Americans still face acts of anti-Semitism in their day-to-day lives, these actions are never acceptable, and the City of Kent stands firmly against acts of hate. And whereas we choose to honor this month and celebrate our Jewish American neighbors, now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Jewish American Heritage Month in Kent, Washington, and encourage all residents, as well as our elected representatives, to recognize and commemorate the important contributions that Jewish American people have made to our country, communities, and the City of Kent. Thank you for joining us this evening.
On behalf of American Jewish Committee, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the City of Kent, Washington, City Council members, and Mayor Dana Ralph for this meaningful, timely, and very important proclamation in honor of Jewish American Heritage Month. I think it shouldn't be like this, but it's almost like a bold move you took to do this, and it's just, we're tremendously grateful. So thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our next proclamation is for National Correctional Officers Week, and Commander Armstrong is here this evening. So we'll read the proclamation, have you come up, do some photos, and have you say a few words. Whereas correctional officers are trained law enforcement professionals dedicated to maintaining safe correctional facilities and ensuring public safety. And whereas correctional facilities across the U.S., both civilian and military, public and private, adult and juvenile, are run by highly qualified and experienced individuals with a deep understanding of the challenges within the profession. And whereas correctional officers and employees are responsible for the custody, care, and rehabilitation of thousands of offenders every year, as well as the maintenance of safe and secure facilities. And whereas correctional officers and employees are resourceful, capable, committed, patient, and persistent professionals in criminal justice and in our nation. And whereas correctional officers and employees serve admirably in many different capacities, including jail administrators, chaplains, nurses, supervisors, social workers, teachers, managers, and directors. And whereas correctional officers and employees teach, train, mentor, counsel, and treat thousands of offenders, And whereas correctional officers and employees provide our offenders with direction, hope, and a new focus while assisting with reentry. And whereas correctional officers and employees rise to meet any challenge and serve this honorable profession nobly and admirably, now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, proclaim the week of May 5th through 11th as National Correctional Officers Week in the City of Kent, and invite all Kent residents to join me in honoring our corrections officers and employees who deserve recognition for their service and should be commended by leaders in the profession and the public for the tremendous job they do and exceptional performance of duties under the most difficult of circumstances. And that is a very real thing. The challenges that our corrections officers face every single day and the work that they do with such great compassion. We are very, very fortunate here in the City of Kent to have an amazing group of professionals leading and running our jail. Commander Armstrong.
I'd like to thank Mayor Ralph and the council for the proclamation. For those people that know we had a jail, our jail is coming up on close to our 40th anniversary in 2026. The officers down there work hard every day and do a phenomenal job. So I just want to say thanks for the city support and the council support all the time. Thank you.
That was really fast. I thought I had another minute. All right. Our last proclamation this evening is for National Police Week, and Chief Padilla will be joining us to accept the proclamation. So it says, whereas Congress and the President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas members of the Kent Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of citizens of Kent, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices that our police officers and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of the Kent Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service, working to create a safer community for all, while strengthening trust and building genuine relationships. And whereas National Police Week is our time to remember all officers who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to their communities. And while Police Week has always been important to us, it has taken on an even deeper importance in our community after we lost Detective Fof in 2017 and Officer Moreno in 2018. Now, therefore, I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, call upon all citizens of Kent and upon all patriotic civic and educational organizations to observe the week of May 12 through 18, 2024 as National Police Week, and to join me in honoring law enforcement officers past and present who, by their faithful and loyal devotion to our city, have rendered a dedicated service and are committed to preserving the rights and security of all residents. And while we spend this time honoring our officers, please join me in recognizing and paying respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Chief?
Well, thank you, Mayor, City Council, for the proclamation. I appreciate that. Real quick, also for Corrections Week as well. I'm sure Mike said this, I had to step out real quick, but they are definitely behind the scenes unsung heroes down there at our jail, and the way that they operate really is in a caretaking role for everybody in their charge. Police Week is a big deal. You mentioned two really powerful names in our history. that this time of year always serves as a reminder. If you have not had the opportunity, Mayor, I know you have, making it to Washington, D.C. for Police Week is one of those things that really will impact your life. And so it's a time and it's a remembrance of our obligation to honor those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice to serve and protect. And so I'm glad and I appreciate that we do that every year. At the same time, on a more, maybe a happier note, it's also an opportunity to recognize the women and men that are out there every day doing the job and just wouldn't do anything else. There are maybe a lot of thoughts about how popular being a law enforcement officer is this day. And I tell everybody I see, this is still the greatest job there is. It's a righteous calling. It's an important calling. And we have people who step up, particularly in our department, because they realize if they don't, maybe nobody will. So very proud of our department, proud of what we do, and thank you very much for this honor.
Thank you, Chief. All right, Council President, do you have some community events for us?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have upcoming events at Asosa Shower Center on May 9th. There's Kent Chamber of Commerce Regional Business Expo, which should be a free event for our community and our small businesses to connect. So it should be a great space to be in. May 18, Live Search 2024. June 1st is Kent International Festival, and you've probably seen the signs going up around the city. And that's an amazing festival where we can connect and with our community and learn from each other. August 17 is Lamb of God and Mastodon, and another event that's not on the list. On May 11th is a Khalsa Day Parade happening at Shower Center. So if you see traffic downtown Kent on Saturday, please be patient. Thank you. And that is all I have, Madam Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mini recycling event, Kent United Methodist Church up on the hill. That's May 10th. And then there's a free hazardous waste disposal event, King County offers that. It's going to be in Auburn on the 26th. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On May 18th is Kids to Parks Day, and that's at Van Doren Landing Park. And it looks like we will be removing invasive blackberry, but also we'll have a fun nature-themed bingo walk, and that's from 9 to noon at Van Doren's Landing Park.
All right. Thank you. Okay, that will bring us down to the next item on our agenda, which is the public safety report. We do not have a public safety report tonight. All right. Then the next item on the agenda is our economic and community development report. Joining us is Bill Ellis. Sorry about that panic there, Chief.
Hello, Mayor, and hello, council members. I have a special guest today, actually, to help present on from our Regional Economic Development Agency, Greater Seattle Partners, Rebecca Lovell, Chief Operating Officer. We invited Rebecca after doing an event with some of our Kent Valley partners on a site selection coaching visit a few months back. So I see her PowerPoint is being, yes, please. And then I will follow with just a couple of business updates after that. May I introduce, please, Rebecca?
Thank you. Well, it's really a pleasure to be back in Kent. I have been with Greater Seattle Partners for a little over a year. And on a personal note, one of the first things that I did getting reacquainted with Kent in this role was to bring my daughter to the grand opening of Kearson Park. She is almost 4. She was 3 then and still hasn't stopped talking about it. So it's always a treat to be back here with all of you. And also I'll say it was really wonderful to hear from members of your community and understand that the values of caring for people and caring for planet are being operationalized every day. And we really like to center ourselves around some of those values as well when it comes to economic development. All right, so just a little bit of a flight plan with you this evening. I'll speak briefly to our mission at Greater Seattle Partners, talk a bit more about the site selection and coaching program that Kent and Kent Valley engage in, and open it up to Q&A as time allows. All right, so we have been in existence for about 5 years and primarily exist to promote this region to the world. And by region, right now we serve King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties. And it really comes in a couple of different flavors. When we talk about marketing the region, a lot of it is storytelling and focusing on not just what a wonderful place this is to live, but the key sectors that really are centers of excellence here in our community, from aerospace and space to maritime, biotech, information technology, all the things that make us special. So telling those stories is one of my favorite aspects of the job. We do that with the express purpose of bringing great jobs and investment into this region, very much with an equity lens. We deeply believe in equitably shared prosperity and access to great jobs and great opportunities. The next piece that we do, and this is where the site coaching comes in, is work to really develop that muscle of regional economic collaboration. So I'll speak to that a little bit more, but it's all about building capacity across the region with our wonderful partners in economic development. And thanks again to Michelle and Bill and the team here for their great work. So here are just a few kind of case study examples to make it perhaps feel a little bit more real. We are getting ready for our second Select USA spinoff ever. Select USA is an international foreign direct investment forum that happens in Washington, D.C. and engages countries from around the world. Well, what we did last year is on their way from around the world to D.C., we've invited select companies to stop over in the Seattle region before they go to D.C. And these are companies that are ready, willing, and able to find a new home or expand into the Seattle region. Last year, we had about 20 companies from 9 countries. So far, 3 of them have actually set up shop here. So they are contributing to our economies. Really excited to bring this back. And what that means is they spend a couple of days, again, across the region, from Everett and Snohomish to Tacoma, SeaTac, and Seattle and Bellevue, and more. So we will always keep you posted on our progress, but that's just one program that we're really excited about. Here's another, again, that I hope really centers our desire to build capacity. And this program is specifically for small businesses, and we really look to center communities of color and women-led businesses. We are, as you might know, one of the most trade-dependent states in the nation, and we want to make sure that our small businesses that are thinking about that for their growth are equipped with all the tools they need to actually add exports as a significant line of revenue. So we launched our first program last year. 95% of them graduated. Over 2/3 said they were already experiencing a lift in their export business. And we just launched cohort 2 April 22nd. So we'll keep you posted on that, but really excited about this program as well. I mentioned storytelling as part of our role, and one thing that we really like to do is not just centering the great industries and companies, but the incredible thinkers, the inventors, not just the CEOs, but the people behind the scenes that make our region really special. And that's the nature of our regional branding campaign that we have called Uncommon Thinkers Welcome. So we launched this last year. It has been an award-winning program, we always like to say, and we've engaged in some paid media partnerships with publications like the Puget Sound Business Journal and GeekWire, over 5 million page views to date. So more than promoting GSP, and we know you might not have heard of us, what we really want you to take away is that concept of Uncommon Thinkers Welcome, and what a remarkable region we all get to live in. This is kind of part of the branding campaign. We launched it by showcasing 21 really interesting companies, again, from up and down Pierce, King, and Snohomish counties. And when I say engage the world, here's just a little bit of a map of where we've been and the countries from whom we've welcomed delegations. We are on a pace to welcome probably 50 inbound delegations this year, who again are excited about deepening ties, not just from a trade perspective, but potentially investing in our region. I got to meet His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Norway, but what was most fascinating about that was, again, that shared commitment to people and planet, and we had a really wide-ranging discussion from deep ocean to deep space, and talked about how we can together be stewards of innovation in our environment. So one quick example there, our colleagues just got back from an international leadership mission to Korea, and we continue to explore opportunities with them. Okay, so now we're transitioning into sort of the capacity building part of what we do. We know at the end of the day, when companies are considering moving here, Our job is to kind of fill the top of the funnel with opportunities, but when it comes to winning the hearts and minds, that really has to happen at the community level. So we need to make sure they're not going to call me up if they need a permit expedited. I can assure you, we are a small but mighty team, and we really just exist to amplify our partners' work. So as part of that, we thought, well, what can we do to sharpen our toolkit and make sure that our partners across the region can close those deals, can bring those companies and investors home, whether it's to Everett or Kent or the Kent Valley. So what we did is we prepared sort of an inventory of the assets, or basically sites, that we have in these 3 counties, and invited out a national site selection consultant. All day long, they work with companies who are considering expansion. And we brought her out not just to get to know the region, which she did, so it was a wonderful marketing opportunity, but to help us get better at our jobs. She put us through a simulated sort of competitive process, and then we spent 4 days in King County, North, East, South, and the Sound Cities regions. And she took us through our paces. I will share just a couple of takeaways that she had in the Kent Valley Day, and kind of what we're doing with that feedback at Greater Seattle Partners. Here's just a few pictures of us out in community, getting to know some of the most exciting sites and communities in our region. And next up, as I mentioned, here's just a couple of screenshots from the really fantastic, I will say, without bias, Kent Valley presentation. This group in particular got kudos for really highlighting a heat map of manufacturing jobs. Absolutely a center of excellence for Kent and Kent Valley. Did a great job of telling the story of Kent's growth trajectory over the years. People really want to see that directionality. And I will say, too, this community in particular has a unique role in being able to steward the permitting process. And I will tell you that is a pretty great differentiator even in our region. We know that as a state, we're never going to win business because of pure financial incentives. We don't really have that at the state level. So we have to win on customer service, and having responsive teams on the ground who have that in their purview, absolutely a winning attribute. Certainly, as a region, the investments that we've made in our transit infrastructure, not just light rail, but our deep water ports and the various interstate corridors, a huge difference maker for folks who are considering locating here. And also, every company wants to truly consider the cost, the total cost of engagement and the project timeline. So we were able to invite one of our partners at Puget Sound Energy to join us for that day in Kent Valley, and we got kudos for that. On the right-hand side of the slide, here are some areas that we can build on and further improve. We did, I think, a pretty good job of showing the snapshot of today's workforce and providing a picture of what kind of some of the higher ed institutions and training programs were. But companies need to understand not just what today looks like, but if they're setting up shop here, they want to understand for decades to come, what is the pipeline? Where will future workforce come from? And I mentioned the Kearson Park example by way of saying, there's no such thing as too early to start developing your future talent and your workforce. And I'll turn it over to colleagues here to speak more about that. But that was a great takeaway. Again, understanding not just that Kent is growing, but how it's growing, what an increasingly young and diverse community this is that represents a really powerful workforce. Great to know that the partners here have purview over permitting, but it really quantifying what those timelines are is going to make a big difference. And then as much as we love to talk about our transit infrastructure, that frankly represents a significant cost savings to companies that are considering locating here. So it's not just that we have it, but think about all the time and money it can save them. We need to get pretty granular on that. And then last but not least, always understanding the challenges and opportunities around utilities and our commitment to the earth and what does electrification need. So more work to be done there. And what we have done as a result in our little organization is to develop a full kind of regional template. So we have a presentation that fills in all the blanks about the region's assets. We customize it by industry, by opportunity, and at the community and site level. And that's just a service that we provide to partners like Kent and communities across the region. All right. Whew. Try to keep us on time here. That's my story. Happy to open it up to some Q&A here or turn it back over to Bill.
That was a ton of information.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right.
That was amazing. Council, any questions? Council President.
Madam Mayor, I have a comment. Rebecca, I remember you. I was in your class at UW for entrepreneurship and innovation. So thank you for being here. It's good to see you again after all these years.
My pleasure. As many entrepreneurs do, you always have a side hustle. So I taught at University of Washington a class on entrepreneurship for about 12 years now. So yes, lovely to see you. Yeah.
Nice.
Great.
All right. I don't see any other questions. So,
all right.
A couple other slides.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Thank you so much.
I thought it was just really important to hear from Rebecca and what GSP is doing and understand sort of the regional message for economic development, and then also understand our role in sort of a larger piece, as a piece of a larger whole. And I just, a couple things I think are really important to stress, and we heard it from the site selector that was hired to visit our communities. Really key moment was like, what is the number one priority you would leave us with? And they said, think of it, it's great that you're telling us about what your job and workforce looks like today. Tell me about what your plans are as a city and as a community for a 5-year-old 15 years from now. Because when we're making a site selection decision, we're thinking about the workforce 10 or 15 years from now if we're making a really big site selection decision. So with that, I just really want to recognize the hard work and good work of Michelle Wilmot and Maria Tizak from the May the 4th events, or Space for All weekend, both the film screening and the event on Saturday with Jose Hernandez. We had over 4,000 families attend. From all over South King County, but a lot from Kent, and that was a great event. And it was, again, to what Rebecca was saying a moment ago, it's really important to start sparking and engaging, just like with the Kherson Park, but also everything you heard at council with our Kent School District joint presentation, last presentation. So I just really want to underscore that is a key thing to be working on, because I think there's different flavors of economic development. There's the marketing, there's the recruitment, and then there's the working on our comparative and competitive advantages, what we do locally to control things. And council choices around our ability to do permitting and within a reasonable timeline, or expedite, or an example of control. Investments in workforce development is another example of local control. And then I just want to highlight a few business. I can't help but highlight a few things that were some business news stories recently. Just the other day, Top Pot Manufacturing made a site selection decision to put their manufacturing in North Kent. I spoke with the broker. I used to work in Spokane. He said, Kent's really speaking to me. And I asked why. I said, well, transit, and you heard that a moment ago. I heard workforce. You have a good workforce. This is going to be an advanced manufacturing food processing facility, 28,000 square feet. And transportation costs. So you're really close into all the other retail locations. So this is just another example of where Kent has really been, this is an unavoidable pun, hitting the sweet spot for food manufacturing, where we are just the right, sorry, Pat, I that one. We're just properly located. We really are, and that's why if you name check a Seattle brand for food, if it's Pierogi, Starbucks, Oberto, the list goes much longer. Now Top Pots.
Coffee and donuts go really well together.
We just happen to be a really good location for that. And to be wonky for just a second, I think part of it is just geographic location, right? It's just the bid rent curve. Where do things can afford is where they tend to locate within a metro. So industry and manufacturing really seems to locate strongly in the Kent Valley, as we heard, and as a strength of ours is that clustering effect that happens because of our geographic location, because of our infrastructure, where we balance the housing and transportation costs. That's just our bread and butter. Another food pun, sorry. But we also have, we're also a location for space companies. This was founded in Kent. This is a Blue Origin employee, Kent resident, founded this company a few years ago, Austin Link. It's currently based in Tukwila. News story today. Secured a $37.5 million Space Force contract. I won't go into the technical details because, frankly, I don't understand them. But basically, it's a space tug, and it's to move objects around in orbit. This is the ongoing growth of our sector, and it is dependent on what we do with our workforce. It's dependent upon how we position ourselves to become more value additive, and that is a factor that is different than our geography. It is something that is within our control, and is something that we should continue to consider investing in. And thanks for the time.
Thank you. Council, any questions for Bill? All right. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the reports section of our agenda. I will kick things off, and I do want to start with, while Michelle is still sitting here in the front row, a huge thank you for the Space for All event. The work that you and Maria did to put that event together, from everything from sponsorships to the advertising, getting the word out, and to securing an amazing speaker. The movie at the park, the rain held off, and we had a lot of families enjoying the movie in Carasone Park Friday night. And then I think, Michelle, the words you said to me is, there's more people than a hockey game here. And that's pretty impressive. So lots of smiling faces and families for the STEM event. Council Larmer, I thought about you several times during the day. Our paths did not cross. But when I had the opportunity to introduce the featured speaker, Jose Hernandez, who the movie A Million Miles Away was, it was his story. And as I was reading his bio, so child of a migrant farm worker to astronaut, but in between that, he is responsible for developing our modern day mammogram. So, on a personal note, as I got to introduce him, I also got a chance to say thank you to him for saving my life, saving your life, right? It's just so powerful and so inspirational. Really, really grateful for that opportunity. So, Michelle, thank you so much. Maria, you guys did an amazing job. It was a fabulous event. A couple other things. It's fitting, given our proclamation for Police Week. The chief and I had an opportunity to attend a meeting yesterday, which was a meeting of police chiefs and mayors from around the country, talking about issues ranging from recruitment and retention, fentanyl crisis, to community policing. What I would like to report out to you, Council, and to our residents is that in nearly every single item on the agenda, was able to look at the chief and say, we've been doing that for 4 years. We've been doing that for 5 years. We've been doing that for 7 years. The City of Kent is absolutely a leader across the country in the work that we're doing with our police department and building that in collaboration with our community. So just want to relay that we all have something to be very, very proud of on that front. Last couple of things I want to highlight. We had our SCIP meeting several weeks ago, presentation from planners all across the South County region, really focused on preservation. So in South County, we are fortunate enough to have what's called NOAA, or Naturally Occurring Affordable Housing, and we really want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to preserve that housing stock. So the planners from the SCIP cities have gotten together and built basically a best practices type of structure on preservation of that affordable housing. So a lot of great work being done there. Have Transportation Policy Board as well as Regional Policy Council coming up in the next couple of days. And to end, just want to wrap up with the space theme where we started. Last week, Michelle and Bill and Pat and I had an opportunity to tour Stoke Space, so their brand new facility here in the Kent Valley, and learn about all the work that they're doing in renewable rockets. It's really exciting things happening in the Kent Valley, and we were very, very proud of that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Pat Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to be brief because I'm losing my voice. Many thanks to the council for helping us quickly reschedule your retreat and annual planning session. And just as a reminder, that will now be held on Friday, May 24th at 8:30 a.m. and it's at the Green River at Kent Station. So stay tuned for an update on that very soon. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Pat. Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We had a council workshop earlier, and we had 2 items on the workshop. We had presentation from our Parks Natural Resources Program and a great update on information security. And so for the parks, they did a great job. We started our Green Kent program in a more innovative way. And our staff, there's a 5-member team who's doing a great job of over 800 acres of natural resources. I mean, that is tremendous job of keeping up, taking care of our environment and making sure that our natural resources our parks are, our residents are enjoying them, so making them more enjoyable for our community. Margaret also shared information on future events that are coming up, and they're scheduled on, there's an event scheduled on every third Tuesday of the month. So please do check out the website and look for Green Kent events and sign up for one of them. There's an amazing one coming up that Councilmember Michaud already mentioned earlier under events. And the one about information technology was about focusing on security, cybersecurity attacks that happen. And it's a great presentation. I would encourage our residents to go back and watch it because it's for your, take a few tips to protect yourself and your family members. Don't respond to every text message you get. Don't open those links. You respond to emails, right? Be always verify when you get a phone call, your bank's calling you, make sure you hang up and call back and confirm with someone. So don't fall for those traps. I know it's very easy these days. So it's a great presentation. Please do go back and watch it. I also serve as the chair for Puget Sound Clean Air Agency Advisory Council, and we have our meeting scheduled tomorrow. And that is the end for my report. Now we'll go ahead with my colleagues. Councilmember Troutner.
Thank you, Council President. I am vice chair of the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority Governance Board, along with Governance Board member Larmer and Boyd. And we don't have anything new since our last meeting, but I do want to remind everyone that on May 18th, we have the Teddy Bear Clinic. So I know it's a busy day, a lot of things going on that day with the bike rodeo, but lots of fun things for you to take your kids out to check out. They can bring their teddy bear to get it looked at by some of our firefighters, or they also have free teddy bears, but opportunities to look at fire trucks, maybe spray water out of the fire hose, just a really fun event. It is at Station 74 off 116th, and that is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I also, at the end of April, got to attend the accreditation kickoff and department interviews with the RFA. And I know our police department is accredited. The fire department has to go through that every 5 years as well. And they were approved to move forward. So in August, they will be getting that reaccreditation. I also am on the Regional Transit Committee, and at our last meeting, we had a briefing on transit security and safety. We had a bus driver from the city of Kent. He's a resident, but also a bus driver. Got to hear his perspective, and obviously, with some of the things that have been happening lately on our buses, safety and security is very important. Bellevue did announce recently that they have a unit that will be a police unit that will be focusing on light rail. And so during that presentation, I was able to ask the question of, during Metro's biennium discussions, if they would consider adding additional security somewhere in South King County so that we have some of those things afforded to us as well. And then we had a briefing on Metro's van pool, MetroFlex, and community van programs. Many of these programs which are highly utilized in Kent. So a lot of good things that are happening, and that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Troutner. Councilmember Michaud, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I serve on the Human Services Commission as the council's liaison, and we are currently going through grants. So right now, individual commissioners have a list of grants that they are going through, and they are rating, and then we will get together as a group on the 16th of this month. I also serve as the Parks and Human Services Subject Chair, and we had 3 items tonight. The first was the Parks Commission revamp. It includes some more meaningful activities for the commissioners and includes volunteerism. And then we also approved an MOU with Kent School District for evening and weekend use of their field at Canyon Ridge. In return, we will, hopefully, if approved by council, install lighting at that field. And then the last thing was another partnership with the Kent School District, and that will make the Kent Laboratory Academy playground and field open to the public in the evenings and weekends when the school district is not using that.
Thank you, Councilmember Michaud. Councilmember Larmer, please.
Thank you, Council President. I serve on the King County Aging and Disabilities Advisory Council, and when we met in April, we had a presentation from the King County Metro Equity Cabinet member. Most of the conversation was focused around equity and inequity in the physical realm. So curb cuts, distance between stops, crossing opportunities. But of course, you know me, I had the opportunity to introduce the concept of the inequity of some of the routing selections and our lack of east-west routes in Kent. So seemed to surprise a few folks, but I think the more we all are in these transportation tables voicing that, and getting attention for that. So don't know that it will, where it will go or if it will, reach the right ears, but it was just an opportunity again to share that our concerns about some of the lack of routes in South King County. I also am the subject matter chair for economic and community development, and earlier this evening on the COW agenda, we approved a motion to appoint Jim Moran to fill a vacant position on the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. Jim is the new general manager of the Best Western Plus Plaza by the Green, and he will be assuming a vacancy by Andrew Hutchinson, and that is a role that has to be filled by a hotelier, and we've had trouble filling those seats before, so we're excited to have that seat be filled again by one of our local hoteliers. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Larmer. Councilmember Boyce, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am your representative for South City Association PIC Committee. We'll be meeting on this Wednesday. So this will be our first meeting without Brian Perry. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Also, Chair of Public Safety. So we had a grant that was given to us for the Washington Association of Sheriff and Police Chief. So which allow our correctional officers to have body cam, so we're pretty excited about that. So always excited about getting a grant. I would say it doesn't fit in here, but I'm going to squeeze it in here. I got a little text message. As part of a community event, we have Juneteenth coming in on June 22nd from 10 to 3 at Moore-Miller Park. So looking forward to having you guys attend that. Thank you. Those are my reports.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyce. Councilmember Boyd, please.
Yes, I also sit on the RFA with Councilmember Troutner and Larmer. We also talked about it at our last meeting on April the 17th that Puget Sound Fire will host the KCFA Diversity Recruitment Event at the Consortium on May 11th. And also, if you're interested in CPR, we will be holding a mass CPR awareness training and job fair, which will be held at the Showware Center on July the 13th.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyd. Councilmember Fincher, please.
Thank you, Council President. June 5th, 6 to 7:30, right across the parking lot, we have our summer art exhibit. So it's a great time to come out and check out the new art. You'll get to meet some of the artists. There'll be refreshments. It's just a fun evening. Again, that's on the 5th of June. For arts, and that was Arts Commission. For King Conservation District, I am chairing our committee that is looking at doing districts, so trying to break King County into 3 districts, making those even. And this is for, right now there's a lot of voting that we have that people don't know about. So it's about getting the information out there, getting access to everyone. So we have had both joint and individual meetings with King County GIS to look at how those, some different ways in arranging the districts, trying to come out and make those balanced. For Public Works Committee, we looked at the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Program, and there is the next public hearing coming up on 5/21, so May 21st. You can find more information out about that in our you can watch that presentation, actually, from today's meeting. You can see that on Kent TV 21. We have the Mental Illness and Drug Dependency Advisory Committee, and we are almost through with the book we've been reading. So we talked about disparities in incarceration rates based on a number of different things, race, on the type of crime, white-collar crime versus BIPOC crimes, whether it would be one that has violence or one where no one was, where violence was against others was not involved. Also looked at substance abuse and that it often is not treated as an actual behavioral health issue, but simply as a crime. So finding out how to get that stigma taken away so that it actually gets the treatment to help improve outcomes from people, especially those who are addicted. And I think that covered all 4 committees.
Thank you, Councilmember Fincher. Madam Mayor, that ends our report. As you can see, all of my colleagues are fairly busy with a lot of meetings outside of just council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we will move on in the agenda. We have public hearing. We do not have one this evening, so that brings us down to public comment. Public comment period is the opportunity to speak to the council and mayor on issues that relate to the city of Kent or items that the council will consider. This is not an open public forum, and comments that do not relate to the business of city of Kent are not permitted. Additionally, Washington State strictly prohibits people from using public comment opportunity for political campaigning, supporting candidates, or any ballot measures. With that, Kim, if you could call our speakers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our first speaker is Carol Barber, and she wants to speak on fireworks.
All right, if you could come up to the podium, state your name and city of residence for the record, and the 3-minute timer will appear on the screen.
My name is Carol Barber. My city of residence is Kent. I am here to talk about the lack of enforcement of fireworks. It has gotten worse over the years, not better. And I live with a dog. I should have brought a picture of him just so you guys could. But he does not tolerate this at all. It is horrible. It is horrible for him. It is horrible for me. And it is horrible for weeks. This is a dog, okay? We don't have any place else to go. I thought about that. Where could we go? We can't. People who set off fireworks can go to the reservation where they bought them and set them off. They don't have to set them off in my neighborhood or in my city. That really irritates me, beyond irritates me, but I'm not going to swear. I did a information request. See how many times that the police officers went out on different things for the fireworks. So I did the week before the 4th and the week after. They went out 4 times. They never, and it was very clearly stated, they go out to inform. They're not going to do anything. These people setting off fireworks have money to burn. Find them. We were asked as a city whether or not we wanted fireworks to be banned, and we said as a city we did. The city council came out and then banned fireworks. The police office needs to do the same darn thing because this is not working. And if it's bad for my dog and therefore bad for me, imagine how bad it is for people who have PTSD. Imagine that. So if you can't feel sorry for a dog or the dog's owner, feel sorry for those people because they can't do anything either. Well, they can get into Canada easier than I can get in with a dog. But that's about it. It is not okay what is happening, and I want it to stop. And I am pleading with you to please do what you can to make it stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, there are 2 people that are going to speak at the same time. Jasmine Favorito and Sandra Desbro are going to speak on Turkey Drive.
Hello, thank you for having us. So the reason we want to come today is because we wanted to talk about the Turkey Drive that we're going to be putting on later this year. I'm sorry, I'm from Torcliffe Central here in Kent. And the Turkey Drive, for those of you who need a refresher or aren't familiar with the program, it's a food drive that Torcliffe Central puts on in partnership with a bunch of different businesses in Kent. And we've been doing this will be our 12th year doing it. And unfortunately, for the last couple of years, we have not been able to put it on. So we wanted to get ahead of it this year and just let the community know that this is something that we're going to be doing. And all monetary and food donations go to Kent Food Bank. So so we just want to get ahead of it. This year we're working in partnership with Sandra from Kent United Methodist Church. So if you want to say a couple words.
So I'm Sandra Dobro with the Kent United Methodist Church and also on the Kent Food Bank Board. And the cost of food, the cost of serving, who we need to serve at the food bank have been going up. And that has to do with one of the grants, especially one of the grants, and that's just greater utilization at the food bank. And so we need to really increase the dollars. And so this is just our way of leaning in. Part of the Methodist faith, one of the basic tenets is really social justice. And our church here at Kent United Methodist on East Hill has made a special focus this year to lean into one of those about food insecurity. And so we're really excited to be partnering with TorqueLift to have this unique community of faith and business partnership to really help out our community. And so we are going to be, our part, the church, will be facilitating communities of faith. We recognize this is a melting pot. This is not just a Christian community, and so we are working to gather all communities of faith to support along with the businesses. And so we look forward to getting more word out together and to helping the food bank to have more successful food for everyone at the holidays.
Oh. Thank you both. I'm very excited to hear that this is back. I know it's a very much needed and also very well loved event in the community, and I'd love to see that partnership. So thank you both.
I have no more public speakers.
All right. Thank you, Kim. That brings us down to our consent calendar of items A through G. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. The next item on our agenda is other business. We do not have any this evening, but we do have several bids, and the first one we have up is Kiwanis Tot Lot number 4. Thank you for joining us, Carrie.
Good evening, council members, Madam President, Madam Mayor. I'm Carrie O'Connor. I work in the Parks Department. I am the one conducting this project for the extent of it. So Kiwanis Tot Lot Park number 4, the engineer's estimate for the bid was $400 to $450. We had 5 bidders, and the apparent low bidder was LW Sundstrom with $424,876 and 10 cents. LW Sundstrom has worked with the Kent Parks Department before on Saltair, the roundabout portions. The project timeline is, as you can see there, starting this month and running through the fall. And just as a quick reminder, this is the project plan. It includes a 2 to 5 play structure, a 5 to 12 play structure, and swings for both ages, along with the typical amenities we put in all of our parks.
All right. Any questions for Carrie? All right. Seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor. Oh no. I move to award the Kiwanis Tot Lot 4 renovation project bid to LW Sundstrom Incorporated and authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents subject to final terms and conditions acceptable to the city attorney and parks director.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you
you
all
very
very
much. All right, our next bid this evening is Mill Creek reestablishment. I feel like there should be some sort of sound effects or something exactly to go along with this. So joining us is our Public Works Director, Chad Beeren, to present the bid.
Very excitedly stepped up to the podium tonight. Really happy to announce that we opened bids for the Mill Creek reestablishment project. This is where we're actually going to go through between Smith Street and Central Avenue, remove over 40 years of sediment and reestablish the creek bottom and replant it this fall using city crews. But in the meantime, we're going to have a lot of work going on. We're going to have some pretty major construction on Kennebec because the road is so close to the creek. We need to do some reinforcing underneath, so you'll actually see steel sheet piles going in there. We've been talking with the neighborhood about that because that'll be some pretty big activity, but other than that, there'll be a lot of material coming out of the creek in that area. And then we'll move over onto the Mill Creek Middle School. Just south of Mill Creek Middle School, there's some vacant property that this Kent School District owns. They've been gracious enough to allow us to decant or dry up the material in that area before we haul it off. and we pay by the ton. So if we pay for it dry, it's a lot more economical than paying for removal when it's wet and heavy. So excited to be moving all that material this summer. We received 4 bids and have a low bid from contractor Strickland & Sons. They're actually working for us right now at 108 264th, so doing good work for us, and are excited to have their bid of $3.7 million and change, which is underneath the engineer's estimate of $4.2 million. So super excited. We'll take a lot of pictures, even though they won't be pretty, but the end result will be.
Chad, how many years in the works?
Well, I know we started talking about it before I started in 1999, and we've been talking in earnest about trying to get permits for it since about 2010, 2011. So it's been
a long time coming. Right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah. Were they going to haul that stuff at number 1? And number 2, is the road going to be closed at all during that time frame or no?
So the roads around will be used for hauling. They'll be open. We'll have some flaggers here and there. Kennebec will be open to, and it always, I mean, essentially is open to local traffic only because it doesn't go anywhere right now except for the homes. But they can get to their houses while we work. There will be some interruptions in there.
Where do they take that stuff at?
We have a couple different dump sites, but we will be testing it, and depending on what we get out of those tests, we're taking it to different sites.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Chad? Okay, seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Shouldn't we let the trumpets blare?
That's what I'd say. There should have been some sound effects. That's all I'm saying.
Madam Mayor, I move to award the Mill Creek reestablishment East Smith Street to Central Avenue North project to Strickland & Sons Excavation, LLC, in the amount of $3,292,409.03, and authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents subject to final terms and conditions acceptable to the city attorney and public works director.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Troutner?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say thank you, Chad, but thank you to all the people that have worked this project along the way. I know when I first came onto council, we had some neighborhood meetings where people could kind of see what the plan was, and it still has taken us a long time to get there. I know one resident in particular that lives down off of Kennebec who has been asking me about this project, and rest assured it is going to be completed very soon. So I know he'll be excited for sure. So thank you very much.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Yes.
Very much. Do have one more bid. Safe Routes to Schools. This is a grant-funded project to bring schools' own flashing lights to 7 schools in the area. Again, grant-funded. Our engineer's estimate on this was just over $260,000. Bid came in higher than that. We have enough money to cover it, but the bid came in at just shy of $330,000. Happy to see the bid on Mill Creek. Don't know exactly why this bid was a lot higher than what we expected, but the equipment came in higher than we priced it out. So we'll see what's happening with equipment as these bids go forward. So recommend award. I'd like to get those school zone flashers out there.
All right, any questions for Chad? Okay, seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor, I move to award the Safe Routes to School School Zone Flashers project to Transportation Systems, Inc. in the amount of $329,554 and authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents subject to final terms and conditions acceptable to the city attorney and public works director.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. That brings us down to item number 11, executive session. Council will be going into executive session to discuss possibilities of property acquisition, approximately 20 minutes, and there will not be any action following the executive session. So with that, if I could ask everyone not related to this executive session to please clear the council chambers, and we will get started. Welcome back. Council is reconvening after an executive session. We do not have any items remaining on the agenda. Councilmember Boyce, you had something you would like to add before we adjourn?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you for this moment here. I'd like to take a moment, and Sunday is a very, very special day. I'd like to wish all the mothers out there a very, very happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyce. All right. As I said, we are at the end of the agenda. If there is nothing else for the good of the order, we are adjourned.
Thank you.